Detroit, St. Louis. I'd like to say good morning, St. Louis. Many of you know St. Louis is where I am from. That's my favorite place. No question about it. That's where all the childhood dreams are. And that's where a lot of my childhood friends are. But more importantly, St. Louis, as time went on, I began to understand there was more to life. And you can't necessarily understand that there's more to life unless you mature in mind. The mind is the key. Unfortunately, many of us have not yet reached the full development of mind, contrary to what you may believe you have. Many of you think you have because those that came before you have only reached a certain level of maturity, but yet they believe they lived their best life. Unfortunately, you have not lived your best life, because how can you have lived your best life if you're living to die? If you're living to die, that tells me you never lived. Many of you are saying, well, I was born. No, you were born in a system, and an enclosed system, conservation of energy, meaning you would literally have a beginning and an ending in that particular system. However, there is another system which is at absolute zero, minus friction and heat. And as a result, that system literally goes counterclockwise. And what I am referencing is starting off at zero. When you reach the age of 80 to 90, from 0 to 90, but you have to go in the opposite direction. 0, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, all the way to negative 273.15 Celsius, which is absolute zero, minus friction and heat. That's where we must go. We're going the wrong way, and we've been going this way ever since we've known ourselves. Those that have led us in this direction because they were blind. Those that led them were also blind. From the beginning of creation, the broken mind created the broken creation, because the broken mind had not evolved to know that it was more than what it thought it was. And as a result of the broken mind creating this broken creation, the broken mind created religion and didn't realize at perfection it was what it was seeking to find, which is the truth. Let me break it down if I possibly can for many of you scholars and those that think you have the understanding of what is actually going on, from the physicists to the cosmologists to those that are working in the medical field, neurosurgeons, the doctors, the brain surgeons. You have not a clue as to what you don't know. Not a clue. However, you can only think at the level of your mind. If your mind can only process the information that it sees, it's not going to know there's something else to see, because it can't process beyond what it currently sees. If you go beyond what you currently see, then you're going to be very inquisitive as to what is going on, because you're now tapped into a reality in which you were not exposed to, in which many are not exposed to. So what you must do is keep seeking, keep climbing, contrary to what other people may think as it relates to your level of intellect. You can't allow them to cause you to fall off that path of truth, because that path is going to save those that have not the understanding that they are capable of being saved. That path will help those that are being tossed to and from, but yet believe that when they get to heaven, they're going to see Mama Nim and Grandmama Nim and all the Nims. But that's not the case, because heaven is not the way in which you're going clockwise. Heaven is absolute zero, minus friction and heat. And that's negative 1, 2, 3, 4. Negative means that you're literally shedding your grave clothes, which is entropy, cause and effect, chaos and disorder. And as a result of shedding your grave clothes, more and more you would literally be able to see the world as it truly is, just like a glass that's been shattering since you were born. That glass will reconfigure itself and contract inward, and you will become that black hole that many physicists and cosmologists believe that we're capable of becoming. You must begin to understand that all is not as it appears. And if you don't strengthen in mind, you will be, unfortunately, in captivity until you go into the ground. But yet there is no ground. It's just a negative sound that's holding a lot of negative information that never became what they were predestined to become. I'm not at all trying to get you to follow me, but I want you to understand that we have been asleep long enough. Your pastors, your apostles, your bishops are asleep. They are clueless as to what is actually going on. But yet, you too are clueless because the blind are leading the blind. And that's one of the reasons you have a life expectancy. Once you literally stop time at absolute zero, stop time, you're stopping the data, the information. You're stopping the noise. You're calming the storm. Because if you don't reach a higher level of cognition, you unfortunately will perish. And you will look at perishing as normal. I'm trying my best to get you all to understand. I don't care if you went to Harvard, Yale, MIT, Oxford. I don't care if you're a Nobel laureate. I don't care if you're the president, CEO, COO. I don't care who you are. Because if you're still living in this decayed system, you will perish. And yet you know nothing but think you know it all and have not a clue. I don't care if your GPA was 8.9 at Harvard or Yale. I don't care if you was a 4-star general. I don't care if you was Prince Philip, presidents, judges, lawyers. I don't care who you are, because if you're still living in the enclosed system of the laws of thermodynamics, you are unquestionably in trouble. However, I'm one to believe that we have the mind to change the reality of where we dwell right now, because now we can see things that we were incapable of seeing before. You must become that star that's literally setting out as distant as far as Neptune, must bring that star down to earth. And what will be said is, well done, my good and faithful servant. Time is not tomorrow. Time is the now for us to take that mountain. And once you take that mountain, and I'm speaking in terms of the highest mountain there is to take, they will say, job well done. And the reason they will say job well done, because you will be walking on darkness. You literally would have reached 13.8 billion years, and you brought that down to now. And as a result of bringing that down to now, you change your place in space and time. It's time, St. Louis. It's time. We got to do this for our grandbabies and our children. It's time. God bless. Oh, yeah. It's time, St. Louis.